Welcome to another episode of Fear the High 1155 podcast. This is episode 12 on season 2. Welcome back. It's another Tuesday. What's up, Steve?
Wait, it's episode 12?
Yeah, it's episode 12.
Not episode 11?
No, it's episode 12.
Okay, see, what had happened was...
How did this happen?
Okay, so once we stopped keeping the show notes in our folder, I started forgetting how many days of what episode it is.
Oh.
That's the only way I can keep up. So I don't even know.
Oh my gosh. Well, with that being said, we know what Steve's been up to. He's been forgetting what episode it is.
Exactly what I've been doing.
Other than that, Steve, what have you been up to? What's been going on in the last week? What's up? What's the sitch?
The sitch? Oh, the world is on fire.
Absolutely.
There's not nearly enough water for the fires in the U.S., much less the fires in anywhere else in the world, like Palestine or the Congo or any of those African nations that we're just letting starve to death. So
gotcha.
There you go.
Gotcha. That's about right. Sounds.
Oh, and I hate rain. There you go. That's new.
Rain. Okay, we've got to explore that. What's going on with the rain?
Okay, let me be more specific. I love rain. I hate barometric pressure change.
Okay.
I love rain because I love walking in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not icy cold. I love it. It's a wonderful experience. Only problem is normally when it rains, the barometric pressure has to change.
Mm-hmm.
And my knees do not like that. Matter of fact, let me tell you how much my knees don't like that. Sunday morning. Sunday, I thought it was supposed to be sunny. It was cloudy. It was overcast. And the Sunday night it rained. But in preparation for the rain, apparently nature decided that it was going to be a sharp and swift barometric pressure change.
Right.
And it caused me to have discomfort in my knees, so much so that if I could chop my legs off right above my knee, I would have considered it. Matter of fact, I did consider it. It was so bad that I took 2 Aleve in the morning, did nothing.
It did nothing to Aleve. He ate the pain.
2 Aleve, two 220s, ate that like it wasn't nothing. Went over to my aunt's house for dinner. Mm-hmm. She gave me an Oxy, 10 milligram, 1025. Anybody that knows, well, let's back up. Anybody that knows what level of Oxy that is by me saying 1025, you might need to seek counseling. But a 1025, nevertheless, and it did, wait for it, nothing. Did absolutely nothing. So, how them old folks used to be like, oh my God, my knees hurt. It's about to rain. And we all used to laugh at them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that guy now. I'm that guy now. I'm
hey man, let's what's the dress code? Hold on, let's ask Steve and his knees before we go out.
Look, and I'll stretch my knees and I'll go, you will need an umbrella and a raincoat because it's going to be windy. Black people in their predisposition to calling out when it's going to rain based on how their joints feel, how the dirt smells, right?
Oh, I've always been able to smell it.
And whether or not there are birds in the air.
Yeah, I've always been able to.
I see penguins. Not penguins. I see what do you call those?
Pigeons?
Seagulls. I see seagulls. It's gonna snow.
Speaking of seagulls, why do seagulls like Walmart? I always see seagulls.
I'm trying to determine if I want to get us canceled or not.
I always see seagulls flying above a Walmart, like all the time, never fails.
I can answer and not get us canceled. They like Walmart because people that shop at Walmart, a fair amount of them shop at the establishment that provides food inside Walmart, whether it's Subway or McDonald's or whatever. And on the way out, they drop food and the seagulls eat. That's why. That's the best way I
Yeah,
can say
but
it.
we're
And
nowhere.
not too
Well,
expensive.
okay, I was about to say we're nowhere near the water, but at least where I'm at, Lake Norman is not too far. So
Food is food. Food is food.
okay, that's fair. That is definitely fair. Well, for me, I have.
Buyer's remorse. Oh, sorry. No, that's not what
I
you
do
were going
not
to say.
have
Go ahead.
buyer's remorse.
Go ahead.
I'm quite okay with my purchase. I'm just not going any further. Um,
Has it happened?
no, I'm just
Have
waiting for.
you come to?
I'm waiting for better revisions.
Man, you sit up here. You got me all happy that you might have made a rational and politically motivated stand, and you just waiting on a better version.
Okay, look, this whole political stance stuff. All right, people, let me let you in on a little secret. That whole thing that you guys were doing with boycotting like companies that would give money to what was it? Those Palestine was it Palestine? It was something about the oppression of Palestine, maybe a couple years ago, and people were boycotting like McDonald's and Target and so on and so forth. My problem with when people do that is not enough of a coordinated effort to actually get to move the needle.
When it's a blanket boycott without a titular leader, if you will, yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah.
and that did not work very well.
Yeah, no. I'm just like, okay, no. And even, the recent ban of not shopping at like Target or something along those lines. Or they say that we're gonna have a blackout. We're not gonna shop. We're not gonna do any shopping. I'm like, okay, so you know what that does? You just go buy it the day before, the day after, or so on and so forth. You still spend the money.
The day of blackout, yes, but the Target boycott is actually being successful. It's being
Yeah, that one is
quite,
successful.
quite successful.
I will congratulate for that one.
Quite
But yeah,
successful. And it is the blueprint. Like we've got what? We got 5 more days in this month, 6 more days in this month.
yeah.
And if it continues like it's going and they add a name to the list and it is as functionally effective,
Mhm.
then we will start to see change because Target is taking it on the chin. I got a message there that the other day in Blue Sky, um, a photo of different Targets saying that they were changing their lighting schedule.
AKA, we're feeling the effects of this boycott. And
AKA, we need to reduce the overhead because it's not enough revenue to justify keeping these lights on 100% of the time.
right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah. Also, the other thing I've been doing is contemplating the lottery. The Powerball is up to like 480 something million right now, like 226 million cash value. But I mean, I say all
how,
that
how
to
much
say,
how much you gonna play the lottery?
huh?
How much you gonna put on the lottery this time?
So I have like $19 in like North Carolina credit.
Okay, go on. So that's all you gonna play?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say, if you're gonna play, you could just like send me the money, and I can email you a piece of paper with random numbers on it. Be exactly the same. Be exactly the same.
Oh shoot, nah, but yeah, I don't sink an absorbent amount of money into that. I don't. That's just not me. After it gets to a certain value, I'm like, okay, you know what? I give it a shot. In the off chance that I don't know, maybe I become that guy. But but I say all that to say, for me, is just the illusion of thinking about what would you do. How would you um how would you spend that money in such a way that, I don't know, would you be frivolous with it? Are you looking long term? XYZ. Is this the start of being able to create wealth, even though you can still,
Sounds
even though you can
sounds
do
like
that
an
with very
exercise in
little?
escapism, and I love those. I
Yes.
love those.
Yeah.
I love those.
But I mean, but also just the current climate in this country, especially, is you're just like, I really wish that I could have something that
Hmm.
just dejects me from having to care what's
Movies.
happening.
We haven't had any recently, but movies. There you go.
True, but yeah, that's like 2 hours or 3 hours worth of.
How much more do you need?
Well, if I hit the lottery, that's life.
If you don't hit the lottery, how long do you get to live in the fantasy of the
A
what
few,
if?
few minutes mostly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
couple hours, a few minutes. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
what do I know?
Yeah. No
I'm
matter
just
what, you still got to return. It
you
is
gotta
what
return.
it is. The basketball team, we're doing good. We've lost both
Yeah.
games. Yeah,
Well, I mean, losing is only, a function of whoever is ahead when the clock
that's true.
strikes zero.
But also, I
How's the
mean,
team playing?
we're finding our footing, which is great because compared to the rest of the league, we are the newest team. So everybody else that's in the league, they've been playing for years. Your
Okay.
brother, I saw him last week, warming
Okay.
up for his game. We play them this week, so we
Oh,
should. Yeah, I told him I'm guarding him all night,
it's gonna be a rough
all
week.
night.
Look, it's gonna be a rough week. He put on some weight.
It's gonna be a rough night for him. Actually, he looks like he lost weight.
If if you mean getting down to 225, sure.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting week. Work is going good. Taking off tomorrow to spend some time with my kids, and
Yay.
yeah, one's got an appointment in the morning, and it's just kind of just a little mental day, just to hey, whatever needs to get done as far as the family's concerned, let's go ahead and get that done and get it knocked out. So definitely looking forward to it. Needed a day.
So before we get off of what's happened since last week, I have to ask the question. Super glue?
So yeah, I mean, I asked the same question to aircraft engineers. Duct tape on the turbines, but they assure me it's mechanical tape, and I'm like, I don't see the difference. It's still gray. It's still tape. But same with for everybody that doesn't know what Steve is referring to, the Cybertruck is having a recall of about 48 to 46 to 48,000 vehicles, which is about the entire
All the ones they've sold.
yeah, all the ones that have been sold so far. And it's because on the A pillar, there's this metal trim piece that is held together by automotive adhesive, super glue.
It's not just on the A pillar.
And essentially what happens is it becomes delaminated and then that piece starts to bend and fly up. So
Hey
from what
man, that's a fancy word for saying that don't fall off.
it didn't fall off. It bends up when it's not
Dummy,
supposed to in the
dummy,
wind.
dummy. We all know, we've all had that experience where we super glued something that was supposed to stay glued that didn't stay glued. And when it did not stay glued, none of us said it delaminated. We all said, hey man, that thing fell off.
I will
That's
say
what's been happening with Cybertruck.
I was surprised when that became a thing because I've seen reports where it's like maybe one or two, but I also didn't know how they mounted it. But then when it finally came out and they said they pretty much glued it, I was like, wait, can you do that? I was like, I don't I don't think
It
that was
has
a
been it's been
yeah,
an
I was
interesting couple of days for Teslas in
I was
general.
like, I don't think that was the smartest choice to begin with, guys. Like it could have been clipped on
Well,
for all I cared.
here's the thing. Nobody would notice that in a car. But people that buy trucks have a slightly different standard of quality and functionality and reliability. Okay. The fact that they didn't know that or they didn't care when they decided to use super glue, not any kind, they could have used high density pop clips if they really wanted to, and they would have had a better experience. Now, if they didn't feel the cavity, it would have come with some rattle, but you just feel the cavity. Even if you use super glue, use the high density pop clips. That's what most manufacturers do with their front ends or with their wheel wells or any place that isn't specifically bolted down. But no, they decided it was already too heavy. Let's use super glue. And here we are.
Yeah, they get it fixed. It's not a big deal.
Really?
It's not a big deal.
Okay. Let's move on then. Since that I would like to think that by itself it doesn't matter much. But see, here's the thing. Elon's been losing a lot lately. And when you stack these losses on the Tesla side up, it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help at all. I mean, if you look in England, they're not only boycotting, but they're considering no longer selling the Cybertruck. in many different dealerships in the United States. They're literally just burning the Teslas. They're setting them on fire.
Well, the
It's
stock doesn't seem to think so.
It had a good day today.
Oh no, this was yesterday's. It rebounded. Was it March 21st? They were at like 250.
What are they now?
288.
288.
Yeah,
Okay.
288.
What were they a year ago?
A year ago? Well, they had a stock split, so it won't. Well, will it show that? So about a year ago, you're looking at, oh Lord, Jesus Christ. A year ago, yeah. So they had that stock split. So it doesn't necessarily reflect as much, but it's
What
at
were they?
179.
They're at 179 before a stock split. Was it 2-1?
No, it was like 5-1.
It was 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, that 179 for one is actually worth 800 for one.
Yeah, something like that. I was trying to remember what the math is in my head.
I think I did that the right way, right?
Math is not my strong suit.
Nope. That's not correct. Actually, no. That is correct.
Well, yeah, because no. So what I think,
that's not correct. Let's see. What 180 divided by 5 is?
No. I think what they do is they take it at the split what it is now and just convert the value for what it was. Because before the split, it was like 8 from what I remember. Because I know I was thinking about trying to get some, and then the price rose too high.
Yeah, that's right, because it was close to 1,000. It was close to 1,000 a share. So they split it. So before the stock split, all right, it was the equivalent of 179 per share. Yeah. So it's still up from where it was last year, just nowhere close to where it was.
Correct.
Before this all started.
Correct.
I hope it continues to drop personally, but that's just me.
I do too, because I could possibly get my car cheaper. Not necessarily the Cybertruck, but could be interesting.
Well, anyhow, we've been a downer so far. Let's try now. We're gonna counter. Here. Okay, yeah. The doldrums of our week. Anyhow, I got a question for you, Dominique. What? Because I have a confession to make when we're done.
Jesus.
What is your most ethnic eating quirk? Ethnic being code for cultural. Cultural being code for black.
So you hit it on the head earlier in the group chat. I'm the person who puts sugar on their grits. I'm that guy.
Why?
It's something about the. Now I can eat it both ways.
No, it's not. Why are you putting sugar in your grits, man? Come on, man.
Because it makes it like almost like a porridge consistency.
So it's not about the sweetness.
No, I add enough where it's not super sweet, but it's like okay, but it just changes.
So if I provided a substitute that could get it to the porridge consistency without the sweetness, you would use that instead?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I said, I can eat it both ways. But like, if I have grits, I have to have eggs, bacon, and cheese because I'm gonna mix it all together anyway.
And you put sugar on top of that?
No, I'm saying if I eat grits by itself, the sugar goes on it. If we have eggs, bacon, sausage, whatever, I'm mixing all of that into it.
So what you're saying is grits by itself is never enough.
No, it's not. It is.
Okay. All right. You know what? I was gonna give you a hard time, but I get where you're coming from now. You make a thing, and the thing has to meet certain requirements. And sometimes, if there's not other stuff, the sugar does the makes up the rest. Okay. All right.
For me. I'm good.
What about salt? You don't do salt at all?
We don't even cook with it.
You don't cook with any salt?
Mm-mm.
Not sea salt,
not
kosher salt, not rock salt, no salt at all.
It depends. And for the most part, even when I do add it, it's really not enough. It's kind of just for me to see it and be like, I did put some salt in it, but it actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we add a lot more of other seasonings besides salt. We kind of leave that out.
I feel you. Ethnic eating quirks. Sugar on grits. We got one.
Yes.
It was put in our chat. Fried fish and spaghetti.
I can't do it. I've seen it done.
I have.
I've seen
it.
And
I understand it.
Yes.
I understand it.
I get it to some degree, but I won't do it. I'm either going to eat the fish or I'm going to eat the spaghetti, but I'm not going to eat. Oh, well, you know what? Here's another one. Growing up, I didn't really like spaghetti. Spaghetti's not my favorite dish even now. So as a kid, my aunt used to put ketchup in it in order for me to eat it.
In this, in the tomato-based dish so it's psychological.
Yeah. So I don't like spaghetti, but I love.
Wait. Have you tried putting sugar in your spaghetti?
Ew, no. Oh,
whoa. Slow down, Mr. Sugar on Grits, man. Don't be talking about some ill.
Wait. No. Give me 1 second. I don't do it by itself. So there's a version of spaghetti that I make. I call it baked barbecue spaghetti. And yes, it is going down the path that you're thinking. So essentially, when I make that spaghetti, you make it as normal, but in addition, I add like a third to a half a bottle of barbecue sauce and about a scoop or so of sugar. And
you didn't put that on the list?
I wanted to save it for this, but essentially, after I make and mix the spaghetti with the meat sauce and everything, I pour it in a giant pan. I spread it out. I put cubes of cheddar cheese in random spots, and I layer it with just cheese just to cover it and make a nice crust. Throw it in the oven about 350 for about 45 minutes. Let it get all melty. Let the cheddar cheese cubes melt, and I serve it that way. So yeah, that is, if you can count as the most ethnic quirkiest. I'm not even sure if it's ethnic. It's just a me thing. I just do it.
It's okay. Sometimes we just do things that are indescribable. Like we have no reason. They're not based in any logic, and we just do them because we like them, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. And if you're wondering, this entire segment got brought up because Dominique sent me an Instagram link to a dude that was making chicken fried watermelon
with
no. We have to start there before we talk about the rest of this, because everybody's going to think that we've maxed out the melanin in chicken fried watermelon, right? This man takes watermelon, he cuts out the center, he batters it up twice, and then he fries it. But then he's not done. As if were not bad enough to chicken fried watermelon.
But you got to admit, the breading on that watermelon was immaculate, though.
I will not. I will
the
not.
On that,
no, not gonna do it.
It's almost enough for me to
not
be
gonna do it.
I've got to try that at least once.
Not gonna do it. Not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay. There's certain things that just don't happen, right? Frying watermelon. I'm sorry.
This is the amalgamation of all of that stereotypical Black person meal. This is like the amount. It puts it all together into.
What he's not telling. What we haven't told you yet is not only do they chicken fry the watermelon, they also create a sauce from Kool-Aid and sugar.
Great Kool-Aid, to be specific.
A great sugar reduction sauce.
Yep.
For the chicken fried watermelon.
The dipping sauce for the chicken fried watermelon.
In Texas, we call that Big Back.
I think that's everywhere. I think globally that's Big Back.
I'm just saying. I know we do it here. I can't really,
But I mean, you got to admit the creativity was off the charts. Come on, Steve. The creativity, the level of creativity that went into that was absolutely, man, that was mind blowing. I didn't expect that.
Dominique?
And then he executed so well.
Dominique, why are you poking the bear?
You got to hand
Why are you poking the bear? I got to hand what to him? An award for making the hard ER list?
If he can bread watermelon and fry it to that kind of perfection, imagine what he can do with a chicken breast or a chicken thigh.
Imagine where he's going to be in 10 years. Wait, I know where he's going to be. Dead. He's going to have a stroke.
Steve,
All that frying. You frying watermelon?
Steve, you're the pot calling the kettle black, Mr. Luther Burger.
I know. If anybody should know, I should know. What do you even mean?
You can't.
I had 2 Luther burgers in my entire life. This man is frying watermelon on a regular. I think I'm going to outlive him. That's what I think.
You probably are, but to actually execute, like, I thought about making a Luther Burger. You actually did it.
I mean, stop being a punk. Get down with the get down.
Like, I thought about
doing it, but I didn't do it.
I thought about it on numerous occasions. But
you're not even 40 yet.
I can never bring myself to actually make it.
Why?
Because it's like Huey said, it's death on a bun.
First of all, my Savior said I shouldn't be afraid of death. He conquered it, death, and the grave.
That was outside of eating a Luther Burger.
No, he didn't put any stipulations on that.
It was in the very fine print.
No, when the fine print. I looked at the cross. There's only big print at the top. King of the Jews. Other than that, ain't no fine print. It's all good. I know what it is.
Yo, you need help, man.
I do. And you don't even know why I need help. I'm about to tell you in a minute. But the chicken fried watermelon, it ain't the top of my list of hard ER things. But it's up there. Like, it's up there.
I said, I wouldn't actually do it because, first off, it's crazy. Secondly, I don't think I could bread and fry a watermelon that well.
Like, clearly it takes practice because you have to cut. Like, it's a whole process. I looked at it and I was going, he's done this at least 100 times.
The only way I can think of him being able to actually execute that breading like that, he had to freeze the watermelon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
After you slice it, you had to.
Freeze it. Yeah, that's certainly.
Because also, there's no way that the breading would actually stick like that either, unless you froze it.
Yeah, I think you got a point there.
But it was good.
I get it. Not for me though. Not a thing.
It's not for many people.
It's like fried butter. It's not for me. Right. And this is from someone that ate a Luther burger. Not for me. Not for me. Definitely not. Oh, however, I will tell you, I picked up a very new, very ethnic quirk.
And I've got
here. It goes. No, you go first because I once I tell you mine, you're gonna laugh.
Right. So, as a black person, you know sometimes you don't have a hot dog bun, but yet you still want the hot dog. So, what do you use?
A regular piece of bread.
You use a regular piece of bread. Now, tell me, how do you execute the homemade hot dog bun?
Really kind of depends on the piece of bread.
Okay, well, let's say you got a stand.
Wait. Clearly, you got a process. Tell me, how do you execute that?
I don't have a process, but this was told to me by an ethnic coworker, and he's not black; he's Filipino. And when he said it, the light bulb went off. And maybe I'm late to the game on this.
Come on, talk. Lay it on us. Come on.
It like, was it longitudinal or latitudinal? Mm-hmm. You do it diagonally.
Oh yeah, you late to the party.
I was like,
you're very late. I'm sorry.
I sat there in amazement for at least like 5 minutes. I was like, you are so right. Wow.
I never effectively a pig in a blanket if you do it right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was mine. I wasn't sure if I was late to the game or everybody knew that yet or not. And I was just like, okay,
just a little, not a whole lot, not a whole lot. It's okay. Now, if you'd have said something like, "I make sandwiches with hot dog buns," I'd be like, "That's
It's too hot dog buns are they're not enough. That's like a mini. That's a snack. That's like I can make a sandwich out of that, and my son would be content. Me, I could not.
Send. I mean, if it's a hot dog bun, you're making sandwiches. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, that's,
Plural.
that's a lot of work.
Plural.
That's a lot of work for little
Not
sandwiches.
really. Not really. If you're hungry, it ain't. It ain't a lot of work. But yeah. So here's mine. The one that I picked up earlier today. Okay. Go something like this. Over the weekend, went to my aunt's house, went to my aunt's house, Terrell's mother's sister's house.
Yes. Family member's house, yes.
Yes. No, I had to make sense. When I say my aunt's house, my aunt's house. My aunt's house. Yeah, gotcha. My mother-in-law's sister's house. It's the same thing, but if people are watching, they know. Or they don't know. I have to explain. Anyhow, we had Sunday dinner, right? First time I'd eaten like that in quite some time, probably a year and a half, 2 years, right? Ate so much that I passed out. It's great. Now, our cousin, Dominique, he makes the best oxtails I've ever tasted in my entire life. Okay. Ever in life. And that's big for me because everywhere I go, I try to get oxtails to see if I can top what was the supreme oxtail experience I've had.
Okay.
His right now is the supreme. It's the creme de la creme. It's number one because he smokes his oxtails before he makes the gravy. Like he smokes them for what tastes like, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours. Like it's a healthy smoke. And then he makes his gravy, and then it's so good. It's so good that when a plate was brought home for Thanksgiving, because I didn't make it, I had 6 kids. I kept the bone around for an additional day. It was clean. It still had juice in it, so I was obliging it. At any rate, his oxtails are amazing. What I didn't realize, though, was that oxtails are versatile, right? So what I did, I was thinking, man, these oxtails are good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the oxtail juice and put it in a cup because tomorrow, which will be today, I'm going to make rice and I'm going to pour the oxtail juice all over the rice, right? Gravy, because that's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's what I was going to do. So I made a cup of oxtail juice to take home with me. Took it home, all that good stuff. At some point today, I didn't feel like making rice. So what I did was I took the oxtail juice and I put it in a teacup and I heated that up. And then I drank it. And let me tell you, that is a life-changing experience, my friend. like I know there's going to be judgment. I fully expected there's going to be judgment, and I'm okay with that. But I'm here to tell you that it will happen again tomorrow, right around noon. Okay, I get just enough for one teacup, and I'm going to enjoy it. I wish I had more.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the High Level podcast. Gonna see you guys.
Come on, man. Come on. You act like, look, man. You act like you never had broth that was amazing. Man, that oxtail broth was so good. I poured it
in a teacup and heat it up and drink it.
I poured it on my macaroni and cheese. Oh,
that's fair. Okay. That's fair.
I use it as dipping sauce for the toast. Oh,
that's
great.
Fair. It's borderline, but that's fair. Yeah.
And I put it in a teacup and I drank it.
No, that's where we draw the line.
Hey man, we were 2 for 2. What are you getting all stuffy about the teacup?
I'd rather you have put the entire piece of toast in it, soaked it all up, and then ate it.
What's the difference?
Or just continue using bread to sop it up.
We're not
savages, sir.
Huh?
We are not savages.
It was a teacup. What do you mean savages? It was a teacup.
No, that was.
I was having tea.
That was
T.
Blackity.
Blackness.
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 Jesus.
But here's the thing, Dominique. His oxtails were so good, I don't even feel embarrassed doing it. I don't. I'm sorry. If you've never had oxtails that's that good, then you cannot relate. But I'm here to tell you, they are that good.
As a descendant of Jamaica, I love oxtails. But also at the same time, I've gotten to a point to where I don't eat it that often because it's one of those things that requires too much work for me to eat. It's a lot of work for not a lot of reward.
Jason, where are you at? Where are you when you're needed? Ladies and gentlemen, I need something to throw at the screen. I'm sorry.
I'm only happy. Hey, for me growing up, oxtails was a normal thing. It wasn't until I became an adult, everybody was like, oxtails. I was like,
we're not laughing at the same thing. We're not laughing at the same thing. We're not laughing at the same thing. You're talking about oxtails. All right.
It's just oxtails, man. It's cool.
Oh man. He said, too much effort, not enough reward. I said, okay. I got you.
It's not enough.
I mean, the reporter in me wants to ask, does that ever happen any other times in your life?
Crab legs.
Crab legs. Not enough. Too much effort, not enough reward.
I love it. I love crab legs. I love them the way that my wife makes them. I absolutely love them. But I have to sit there for at least 30 minutes to eat enough for me to be like, you know what? I think I've eaten my fill. The cracking, the I'm cutting my fingers so many times.
Are you cutting your fingers on crab legs?
I'm trying to get in there and grab the little bit of meat there.
Oh, you sound like a novice.
No, I can crack crab legs with the best of them.
Not if you cutting your fingers.
It's sometimes I don't eat all day when they're
Matter of fact, sorry, let me regulate my voice. Matter of fact, you got to stick your finger in the crab leg.
The claw. Okay. I use my teeth, and then I try to pry it open, and then sometimes I graze my finger, and it cuts me, and and then with the lemon juice and the sauce, and it burns, and it's an experience.
I've never cut my fingers on crab eating crab legs. Matter of fact, no, I'll just leave it at that. You know what? We'll have to do this together because clearly somebody's missing something, and maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I'm just saying. I don't see how that happens. There's, you pop them off, you crack. You know what? I think your crack spot is slightly off. Because if your crack spot is in the right place,
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not saying that, sometimes I get the times where I get a really jagged edge, and that's usually the time that it happens. But, it's not like it's a very common occurrence. It's just, happens every once in a while. And it's annoying.
You know what? I get it. We will have to do this together. Yeah. I was about to tell you, I saw online a new technique, right? My crack locations are immaculate, right? Anytime I pull out a crab leg that isn't a full crab leg, I'm disappointed in myself in my effort. Like it doesn't happen a whole lot, right? But I did find out that if you are very confident in your crack locations, you can take your crab leg and do like this, and it'll just pop out. That's the next level. That's the next level. And the next time we have crab legs, which will be in about 3 weeks, I'm going to try it. That's for sure.
That's fair.
Crab legs. Ooh. Man, I wish Jason was here. He would have got that joke that I made about Dominique putting in all that effort to eat and not getting enough in return. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Because whew. Hey man, what are you watching?
So
like
today I
mm-hmm.
started watching the new David Blaine series.
Okay, first of all, tell me it's good. Let me preconceived notions to the side. What's it called, by the way?
Do Not Attempt.
Okay, is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it good enough to actually like watch, or good enough that I would watch while I'm doing something else?
So I don't know. It depends. This is not like him just walking up to people doing magic. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that at all. It's a lot like him. What I can most compare it to is like that Will Smith documentary from National Geographic, where he met like a lot of interesting people who did like really interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
And so he finds people like that all over the world. And then like at the end, he tries to do something that they do. Like one episode is him in Brazil, and he meets all these different people who do different things. Like this guy who walks like a tightrope. These two girls who I think they were Olympic swimmers, Olympic divers, synchronized divers, and stuff like that. And they have this bridge that they jump off of all the time, and it's like a regular bridge that it's a highway. And basically, at the end of it, he worked his way up to being able to light himself on fire and then just jump off the bridge at like this height, and just to put himself through something. Because I mean, he not only is he known for magic, he's known for these feats where he's spent time in blocks of ice underground, in a ball of water, in a box above London for X amount of time. And then the second episode, he does something along like that, where he learns how these people who deal with snakes, why they're so confident around these snakes, and he challenges himself to be that confident to where now it's stupid, but he to where he kisses the top of a snake's head, and and it's not just any snake, it's a king cobra, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not for me, but hey. But it's just interesting that he finds these people. Like he found people who chew glass, who chew nails, and it's just interesting that those kinds of people exist.
So what you're saying is he goes to Florida and he interviews random dusty people, and he does what they do. Got it.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Practically
makes sense.
Yeah,
makes
the
sense.
first two
And
episodes
no shade.
Disney Plus.
Oh, this is on Disney Plus. It can't be that bad, then. No shade to the people living in Florida. You know a Florida man and what a Florida man is capable of, so I'm not worried about that at all. But as long as it's good, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, March Madness. That's really the only thing out. Well, last week it was like the only thing to watch between Friday and yesterday.
That means you don't watch The Pit, and you haven't tried Resonance yet.
No, haven't. I have heard about The Pit. I hear The Pit is actually one of the most accurate ER shows that you can watch, though.
I am a big fan of Noah Wyle since his first stint in ER. I'm a big fan of The Pit. I've watched every episode. I've watched episode 12 3 times now. Okay, came out on Thursday. There have been some very good, there have been some great episodes of television, singular episodes, right? There have been a couple of great seasons here and there, right? But by and large, normally you get a good episode and you're content with it, right? So episode 12 of season 1 of The Pit is one of the best hours of television that I've seen this year, quite some time. Like it goes up there with some of the best hours of television, like the final episode of season 1 of Severance, right? Okay. The final episode of season 1 of the second to the last episode of season 1 of Ted Lasso, right? Like these are the first episode of Lovecraft Country. Like these are monsters of episodes within shows, right? The last episode of Invincible for the ending of the season. The Pit's episode 12 and you can watch it without watching the backstory like the other 11.
Okay.
If you don't want to go through, because some of it's a little morose, like it can be slightly depressing, especially if you buried someone close to you recently, right? Because it's a real depiction of what happens in an ER.
Right.
But this episode is really good. Like, it's so very good. And look, I've watched it 3 times since Thursday. That's how good it is, and it's an hour, and it's a hard hour and 7 minutes. I think it is.
Gotcha.
Well, 67. But it's really, really, really good. So definitely The Pit if you've got HBO Max. If not, find somebody that does. It's worth the watch. But also on Netflix, The Residents is now available. As a general rule, I support just about anything that Shonda Rhimes does. Just as a general rule, simply because I need a Black woman showrunner able to tell stories her way and influence not only writing, but filming and production from her standpoint, right? And opening the doors for others.
Right.
The Residents is a Shonda Rhimes show. It is a dark comedy about a detective and a murder or a death at the White House. And it's definitely a dark comedy. It is very good. But Uzo Aduba, I think I said her name correct, and Giancarlo Esposito, and Susan Watson, they are all in it. They are all amazing in it. It is very funny. It is told from a perspective like they're the main character, Cordelia Cup, Black woman detective, best one in the world. And she shows why. She is like a Black woman Sherlock Holmes. She's that good, and it's very, very refreshing. I very much recommend it. Very much recommend it. Very much.
Yeah. Shonda Rhimes is usually pretty good.
Yeah, it may not be your cup of tea, but it's worth watching the first episode to determine whether or not it's your cup of tea, right? For most people, if you like watching The Office with like dry or dark humor, you'll like this because it's got loads of both. Loads of both.
Anything that does like humor like that, I love it.
She's done that very, very well. She's got a very diverse cast. Pardon me. And I very much enjoyed it. And I can't wait to finish watching it with my wife because it's available on Netflix. And we've only watched like 3 episodes, I want to say. 3 or 4, I can't remember. We fell asleep on one. So there's that.
It's fair.
Jason.
What up, Jason?
Jason's at work talking about something. It's a good show.
Right.
I'm glad you could hop on and chime in. JJ, you missed earlier. Dominique committed a penalty. We didn't have you to throw the flag on the play. Soapbox moments. You got a soapbox moment for us? I know you do.
I do, but I'm not going to because I'm
Come
tired.
on, Dominique.
No,
come on, man.
No,
come on. We need your energy. We need your anger. We need your frustration.
It's politically fueled and it's just annoying still.
That's what the soapbox moment is for. We created this segment so that we can be mad for a minute and get it out of our systems. Come on, Dominique. Let's therapy each other.
Well, okay.
You know what? I'm not gonna say that again. Let's help each. You know what? What's your soapbox moment?
That sounded very rapey.
That's why I said I'm gonna say it. I said it, and then I didn't think about it. Because normally I filtered through my head. The filter was not on. So I was looking at the notes. Then I said it. I was like, ooh, I can't say pause. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
So all right. My issue this week, and honestly, this is really valid, but it's just like it shows the incompetence of the people that we have in the White House. And I really hate to criticize these guys because
why they deserve
it. You're right, but that's the reason why I'm doing it, because they deserve it. And it's funny, and they deserve it so much more than all the other possible critique I've ever possibly given in the past of any other administration. This takes the absolute cake. And as an IT guy, this is it's hilarious and very concerning.
Infuriating.
So the top guys, the top security holding guy, like these guys know the secrets of the secret.
Head of the CIA, the director of national intelligence.
Like they know where Jimmy Hoffa is buried.
The Secretary of State. Yep, go ahead.
And these idiots get together on Signal, which is an app that's supposedly end-to-end encrypted on regular cell phones on a regular network that they can tap into whenever they feel like it. So honestly, it's not all that secure. They invited somebody from the media, a journalist, and we're talking about actual war plans that actually got carried out after.
Mhm.
And there's no possible way that you accidentally add a random journalist to this unless you're absolutely 100% incompetent. And if you're
Yeah.
that incompetent, there is no reason you should be in the position that you're in. National security or honestly, so overseas we call it OPSEC, operational security, which means people only know what they need to know in order to get the job done. Compartmentalization. And you guys threw this out of the window because, and it's not so much that the journalist, you put a journalist in there, it's just what it represents. That easily could have been somebody, aka probably Putin, or anybody else in another country that's against the US that could have been in that chat, that could have wound up in that chat.
Ooh, you mad? I'm gonna poke the bear for a little while. Do you mind?
Please, it's fine.
Okay. Apparently, there were 19 people in that chat, 2 of which were actually in Russia at the time. Now, to most normal people, that doesn't mean anything. But to people that have an idea of what cybersecurity is, just being in Russia is a cybersecurity threat.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
Let me
most times, and
go ahead.
most times, if your IT department is worth its weight in salt, if you leave the country, you should automatically be locked out. If you try to sign in, like if you're vacationing in Germany and you try to sign in to check your email, you should automatically be locked out. That's how simple it is.
Let me help the normal people that may not understand. I was reading an article almost 10 years ago now that was talking about the capabilities of Russian hackers and how good they were. And so what he did was he took an iPhone, which at the time was regarded as one of the safest unhackable phones at the time, to Russia. It was a sealed iPhone in box, had never been used. He opens it and puts a Russian SIM card in it so he can access the Russian network and so that he can time how long it takes for Russian hackers to break into iPhones on Russian cellular networks. 3 minutes. In an airport, he said it took them less than 3 minutes to have complete access of his iPhone at the time. This was almost 10 years ago.
And yeah, so for people who don't think that even that's a big thing, that like, oh, that was probably targeted. No. There are projects where people, like cybersecurity projects, where people create what's called a honeypot. Basically, it's just a server that has all of the security features stripped away in hopes of having somebody try to attack it. And you can do this project like for free and see how long it takes for people to start hacking that computer just out of nowhere. You haven't advertised anything, you haven't said anything to anybody, you haven't done anything. They just find it and start throwing attacks at it. And yeah, it is literally about 5 minutes or less. It doesn't take long at all.
Russian hackers did that in a Russian airport to an iPhone that was new out of the box in less than 3.
Yeah.
To let you know how good they are. And 2 people were in Russian airspace when those messages were being lobbied back and forth. Let you know how unsecure that was, because whether it was an iPhone or not, they could crack an iPhone 10 years ago in less than 3 minutes.
Oh yeah.
They can do it even quicker now. That's number 1. Number 2, Signal is an open source platform.
Yep.
So it's not even like it's proprietary information that you got to get before you can hack.
Nope.
It's open. That's number 2. Number 3, remind me, correct me if I'm wrong, but the US government has a few apps specifically for transmitting messages that are infinitely more secure, that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars working on, that are not Signal. That's
And
number 3.
some guy walked in and said, "Hey guys, I created a Signal group. You want in?"
Number 4, on an open source app, they exchanged operational details of a military exercise. Okay.
I hear our
With
VP
an
couch
unknown person in there. Say again?
I hear our VP couch lover was in there.
Man, look, man. The fact that the director of national intelligence, the head of the FBI, the head of the Department of Defense, the Secretary of State, the vice president were all in one chat. I believe Stephen Miller was in that chat too. We're all in one chat, all discussing operational tactics in the open, and quite possibly things that would be considered classified information. Lets you know how much of a screw up this is.
Honestly, this should be treason.
It is at the very least a fireable offense.
Yeah.
It is reasonably a prosecutable offense, releasing that type of information. Oh, let's put it another way. The reporter that was in the group that whistle blew was like, I can tell you this of what they said, but I can't tell you anything else because it might put people's lives in danger and it might be classified information. So in essence, they had classified documents and they set them on a park bench and just started talking about them in the open. That's essentially what they were doing.
It is.
Not to mention the fact that if you know, you know. There are these. Have you heard of these things called stingers?
In what context?
Okay, in the cell phone context. You know what a repeater is, right?
Yes.
A repeater. You get a repeater in your house. Range extender, right? Yes. You get one in your house. You put it on your network, and because your house, because of the location of your initial Wi-Fi router, you need a repeater so you can have good signal on the other side of the house. It takes your signal, it replicates it, and it sends the information back to the router. So a repeater. Okay. A stinger is that for cell phone signals. The only thing is, the stinger replicates the cell phone tower signals, it duplicates it, and it masks itself like it's the cell phone tower. But it collects all data going through it to the cell phone tower.
It's just it's a byproduct of how it functions, but yes.
And so I know for a fact that in the city of Charlotte, they were using stingers to access personal information. The city of Charlotte got sued for that, and then they had to stop for a time. But that's because the authorities were using it. These things called stingers are available on the open market. And if you think that foreign intelligence agencies don't have stingers, then you don't know much about foreign intelligence.
Oh, no, you're severely downplaying the capability of anybody, really.
Oh, well, yeah, no, certainly.
Yeah, you're downplaying it. So, I mean, it's just, and I called Steve about this yesterday because it's just so annoying. Like, just when you think it can't get any more stupid, they go and it's just like, nope, we can go farther. And it's like, wow.
Your boy said, hold my beer.
Right. Because my issue is if, and I'm going to say it again. If this was Biden.
Don't do it.
If this was Bush.
Don't do the false equivalency. Please don't.
If this was Obama. If this was Clinton. If this was, I don't know, Nixon. If this was any other president, they would have had his head. And then today, they were deposing the national security leaders. And what's her name? Tulsi
Gabbard. No answer. Tulsi Gabbard. No answers.
No answers. Zero. Because
They
at this
tried
point,
to put
you
Hillary
can't
Clinton.
say it's classified data because old buddy, he was able to read it just fine. He doesn't have the clearance to read to be privy to that. It's not classified no more.
It is classified. Well, it was classified. The question is,
Until
will
they
they
put him in it.
try to declassify it and make it effective before the actual messages, which I don't put it past them to attempt, right? But just for reference, Hillary Clinton had emails
The
going
email
to a
server.
server to her home.
Like to this day, Trump
Wait
is
for it. While she was the Secretary of State, right? Because the computers at her job were so old that they had no operational security.
right.
So she had an email server, a secured one that not only her, but the likes of Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, they've all used this email server so that they could have secure emails. She used this to get emails, and they wanted to throw her in jail for using a secured email server to send emails to her home computer, one that they knew about in real time, but only were mad about after the fact.
After the fact, yeah.
And they accused her of endangering the United States because she revealed or exposed classified information. Never mind the fact that it was never proven that she exposed classified information. Never mind the fact that it was verified that the email server that she used was the one that was provided for her and that others have used.
Right. This is almost like somebody took documents home from the White House.
And you know he took them back, right?
Yeah. After
He
they
took them
see
back
the
recently.
thank you. Which
Yeah, he wasn't the president. He was like, "Hey, man, send them things back to Mar-a-Lago."
Which makes me wonder, what are those documents?
I don't even want to think about those documents.
Is it the conversation between him and the My Pillow guy?
Those documents make me upset. I don't ever want to think about them. Those documents are the reason why he should not be president, because that should have disqualified him from being president, from being on the ballot, from taking the oath of office.
There were so many ways to stop it, and at no point did anybody with any actual authority actually stop it.
But yeah, I'm there with you on that soapbox, Dominique.
But yeah, our security as a United, like, yes, Jason, the world is laughing at us right now because this is absolutely stupid. This is unacceptable at the highest level, literally.
Not to mention that some of the messages that were sent in that text were expressing open disdain for some of our closest allies.
Yeah.
Like, America is really on the we're going it alone track. And in a minute, we're not going to have anybody to support the things that we do, which for those America first people, that doesn't seem like a bad idea. But for the rest of us that understand that our economy does not function by itself,
correct,
right? That our food supply does not function by itself.
Oh, God, no.
That our electricity doesn't function by itself. We kind of need allies. Kind of do. So there's that. Yeah.
Like most people say, the U.S. is the most secure country. It is while we have allies, because
we have allies.
Yes, as we are somewhat secure, we have a body of water surrounding us on both sides. But if they wanted to, I don't think America could actually fight a war on two fronts. And it's very rare.
Where? Wait a minute. Where? You talking about in America?
In America.
Oh no, we don't.
So if for whatever reason,
nobody's coming here to start war. Nobody's that stupid.
They did in 9/11. They were already here.
Yeah. Okay. Attacking us and starting war here, those are two different things, right? People will come here. People are actively trying to come here and attack America. But starting a war on our shores, no, there are too many guns for that. Too many guns in America for that. Okay. That's not going to happen.
Yes. But if it was, let's say, a handful of countries.
Dominique, how are they going to get here?
Canada.
We got regular Canada. Okay. Here's the thing. You try to come from Canada, right? But we've got militias that have night vision goggles. And I'm not even talking the military. I'm not even talking about the drones. I'm not even talking about the ultra secret stealth plane that they're trying to say that we want to build, but I believe is already built. We're not
Oh,
talking about any of that. We're not talking about any of that, right? We're just talking about regular good gun toting Americans that out there shooting deer with night vision goggles and 30x scopes and 30
but
rifles.
also, also war right now is not necessarily in the traditional sense where you send people here.
No,
I
it's
mean,
economic.
yeah,
It's
it's
all
economic.
economic
I
and
mean, what
growing.
happens is they just starve us to death. And then once we're starved enough, then you send your people in and do what you got to do. But yeah, we'll know far ahead of time that it's actually happening. Real quick, small update that I did not get to say anything about earlier. I know America is waiting on these results, but I have the results on what whiskey is.
The gift that just keeps on giving. Dominique, you know what? I would like to know what the DNA results from your dog.
So, what do you think he looks like? Mostly.
I think he looks like the pet of a rich owner. We'll go on.
Wow. What breed of dog does he mostly look like?
You know what? I don't know. I don't remember what whiskey looks like.
Okay, well, he's in his crate. I'm not gonna go get him because then he's just gonna start whining. So essentially, he is 29% chow chow,
Oh, you got a bad dog.
24% pit bull terrier, 11% American Staffordshire Terrier, 15% retriever. That's majority.
Okay, so we're hoping that the retriever and the Staffordshire balance out the chow.
Oh, he's fine. He's not, which is interesting because now that I know what he is, I'm like, oh, well, he's actually pretty behaved. So, all right. Very interesting.
See, just got 23andMe money just laying around for dogs. I got it.
23 is going under, sir.
I mean, if they had known that you was going to be DNA testing your dogs, they probably would have stayed around a little bit longer. No, but yeah, no, that's interesting. That's an interesting mix, which means he's going to be a middle-sized dog, probably,
yes,
which is good.
40 to 68 pounds.
Yeah, my dog is 70 pounds, so 40 to 68 is good, big enough to be seen as a deterrent, but also small enough for you to pick up when you need to. You got to pick them every now and then and just make sure they know that you're still,
You got to intimidate them just like everybody else. Like,
I pick up everybody in my house once a month. I've told you this.
No, it's like, hey, you're not exempt either.
He's not exempt either. I pick him up and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm asserting my dominance." It's Tuesday the 12th. It's your day. It's okay. Sorry. So, but yeah, no, that's good. This is good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm just floored at America right now.
It's okay, man.
Absolutely flabbergasted. Literally.
It's all right. There's some reckoning that's happening, and we're gonna get over it. Some people are gonna experience pain and discomfort in ways that they've never before, but we'll get through it. Wait. That was the wrong tense and verbiage. Y'all will get through it. I'm telling you right now. Tell you right now. Passport applications go in Friday, buddy. They go in Friday.
Yeah,
and
me and my wife
I've got 3 separate countries on deck for digital nomad visas. I'm ready. Y'all play around if y'all want to. Hop on a plane, be out this mug.
Right.
So, but at any rate, yeah, that's a very interesting soapbox moment. I got a soapbox moment.
What's that? What you got, man?
There is a Canadian woman that was detained recently And that may not sound like much, but the full story is, and I'll try to make it really quick. Let's see if I can time myself. And go. There's this Canadian woman who got a job in America, came to America to do the job. Visa wasn't right, so she went back to Canada, right?
Okay.
Applying for the visa. She got a visa, got a work visa, be in America. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Needed to renew her work visa. And this is assuming I'm getting the story correct. Went to renew the work visa. The person that was renewing the visa saw that her first visa, she got declined the first time, but accepted the second time. So they flagged it as being suspicious. And they detained her in San Diego while her lawyer was there, because the lawyer told her to go to the immigration office in San Diego to do the work visa thing.
Right.
Okay. White woman from Canada detained because she had a visa, but because she applied the first time and it was declined. Okay. She was taken to a detention facility, and over the course of 3 weeks, she was transported to, I think it was 3 or 4 detention facilities, right? Not given a phone call for the first 3 days in the first one, not given a phone call after that until the last one that she was in. In the interim, she was helped by inmates, because these detention facilities, many of them double as actual prisons, like regular prisoners on one floor and detention prisoners on the top floor. Got an email out to her, the CEO that hired her, got in touch with her family. They created a media campaign in Canada. They decided after 2 weeks to let her go under the condition that she bought her ticket back to Canada. And that's what she did.
You can't.
Now, as bad as that sounds, Dominique, let me tell you how it's even worse, right? Because, and she wrote about this in a Guardian article chronicling her experiences, right? What's worse is that she met people who overstayed their visa, left, went to process their visa, got approved for a new visa, came back and were detained because they had overstayed before they left. People that had visited countries that were suspicious, and when they came back, they were detained. People that had been given asylum status while their case was being adjudicated that were detained, right? What she found out is that in certain circumstances, they will allow you to fly back home, which is like, you know what? I'll just fly back home, right? You don't have to deport me. I don't have to be detained. Just let me go. I'll fly back home. To fly back home, you have to buy an open ticket. You know what an open ticket is, Dominique? The most expensive kind of ticket you can buy, because it's a ticket on an airline that can be used at any time. And if a ticket from San Diego to Vancouver, which is where she lived last before she left Canada, if that ticket is $1,200, an open ticket is $6,000. So they make it financially prohibitive for you to leave, and even if you want to leave, by putting a stipulation on your exit that is too much for you to bear.
Right.
Which points towards what they're trying to do with this entire deportation situation. They're trying to create a slave class, right? Not for nothing. America doesn't work. Capitalism in America doesn't work unless there is a slave class. Okay. And what they're trying to do, what they are doing successfully, is creating a slave class, right? She says she met women that have been in detention for 8 to 10 months in detention with no ability to leave, and without necessarily knowing where they are or where they're going, because they don't give you that information, because they don't have to give you that information. But the government has to pay per filled bed for people that they have detained, much like prison. And so what's happening is these people are being detained so that these detention facilities can reap the financial benefit of having beds filled. It's kind of like that judge from Pennsylvania that was getting kickbacks from the prison for sentencing minors, particularly minority minors, to unreasonably long sentences. It's kind of like that, but on a global scale, on a national scale. And so she's got. If you go to the Guardian, the article is there. It's a heartbreaking article, but it's a very good read, so that people can understand what's happening at these detention facilities and what's happening to minorities across the nation. Like, and it gets worse. Recently, Donald Trump reversed the temporary asylum visas, or the visas that people got that were seeking asylum, that were from Venezuela and Cuba and Jamaica and Haiti. Some 500,000 of those. And those people have to self-deport and get a visa from their home country, or get deported, and they can't come back for, if they can come back ever, 5 years.
That's
so on top of all the people they're rounding up with or without cause. They just added 500,000 people to the rolls, people that had legitimate asylum claims, or who have not been through the asylum process to determine whether or not their claims were legitimate or not, who may be in danger if they go back to their home country.
So, on the subject of visas, I'm very curious for your perspective on this, but essentially, a few news sources, one of them being Business Today. I'm not claiming this is accurate or anything, but Trump put out his plan to sell the gold visa. No, as of right now, they're claiming that they have already sold 1,000 of them. I don't know how true that is, but it's part of his plan to possibly subsidize the no income tax on people who make less than $150,000 a year, which the plan for that is heavily complicated, because essentially you have to make up like 60 or $600 billion in taxes. And the thing about that is you could probably do it for 1 year, but on a consistent basis. And this gold card visa is targeted for 37 million individuals worldwide who have the money, but that assumes that they actually want to be residents of the United States.
I reject the premise of the statement, right? The entire idea that he's selling these visas to make up for, first of all, idiot. I'm not talking about you, talking about him. Do you know how many visas you would have to sell to make up just the budget the budget deficit on any given year?
A lot. Like all of
how much are these visas? How much are these visas?
5 million a piece.
There are not enough people that are not already either permanent residents or citizens that have $5 million laying around that want to come to America,
right?
That can't already get in America, that need a golden visa to pay enough to make up the budget surplus for 1 year.
Yeah, like
not enough people.
Even if he sold all 37 million in the first year, actually, hold on, that's billion. That's 185 trillion. But yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But I mean, even at that, the gold visa card just side skirts a lot of these things that you have to do in order to get a green card. But yet, the green card is cheaper. So I don't.
Well, it's another way of saying, hey, we want rich white people here.
Yes.
Or ultra rich people. If you're not white, you got to be ultra rich, but we'll take you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And $185 trillion to be exact is 7 times the current U.S. national debt. He's not going to get that lucky.
It's 7 times the U.S. national debt at the moment.
Correct.
But they're not 37 million people that are willing to pay $5 million that do not already have access to the United States.
Exactly. You're not going to convert all those people.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not 30. Even if it were $1 million, there's not enough people outside of the United States that don't already have access to the United States, that haven't already paid to have dual citizenship. You know, the numbers don't even work. I don't even know why. He just says things that he knows have no basis in reality or fact, and he passes them off as if they're possible, and people just believe him. And while people who actually know, who are actually talking fact based, complete sentences, they ignore and they call it fake news because they are intent on perpetuating this idea of whiteness and protecting it as
Yeah.
opposed to protecting the Constitution of the United States of America.
Which which is interesting because the other part of our conversation yesterday was the fact that how is it that you have this press conference celebrating the dismantling of the Department of Education when just because you sign an executive order does not mean it happens.
Yeah, and we ended with the agreement that people are stupid, too stupid to check the facts, too stupid to remember what they were taught in middle school. The fact that he can't do. He just did it because people are stupid enough to believe it's happened. And they're going to say that he destroyed that he canceled the Department of Education. He closed it. No, you idiot. He didn't close it. You just think that he did because you have no
Right.
critical thinking
Like
skills.
if I was a judge and like one of the judges that has like from the Supreme Court that has the power to stop some of that stuff, just say, hey, you do have the power or don't have the power. As soon as I would have seen that and it came across my desk, I would have texted the president like, yeah, we're not doing this. Like I'm not even filing formal paperwork. I'm texting you directly. No.
And that's going to stop him. Why? Because unless you do it formally and on the record, he acts like that didn't exist. He
Well, I
just
mean,
did it.
yeah,
He just did it to the judge.
yeah, the
He
judge
just did
said
it to
you
the judge.
can't deport those people, and he deported them anyway.
No, 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 no. It wasn't just he deported them. It wasn't just he deported them anyway. It was those planes cannot take those people to Venezuela.
Right.
And the planes took off anyway. And the judge was like, if the planes are in the air, turn around. And the people on the planes knew that that's what the judge said. Matter of fact, there's proof that people on the ground knew that that's what the judge said. Yet and still, they went anyway. They, under the auspices of following orders, defied a judge's ruling, which in the America that I'm used to is called contempt. And you go to jail at the very least.
Yeah.
Very least. So yeah, no, he's gonna act like that didn't happen, and he's gonna make you put it on paper, right? And then defend it. Because if you don't do what he says, you know what he does. He'll dox your kid. You hear about that?
Mm-mm.
One of the judges, I think it was the judge that stopped them from firing all the people at USAID and it like approved the injunction.
Yeah.
They doxed his daughter, dude. Like that's
childish.
Okay.
That's
I'm going to say this. That's how people get shot
Oh yeah, big time.
and killed.
Yeah.
No matter what direction you're looking at it from, right? Like my mother was telling me about a judge who had a kid shot after the judge he made some ruling and the people didn't like it, and so they doxed his kid. And a dude that was delivering pizza came to the door. Kid opened the door, and the dude shot him in the chest, killed him.
And Jason, yes, in a way, but not when the president is outside of his powers.
Okay, so no, the commander in chief does not outrank the judge. This is how we have to frame it, right? The way the Constitution is set is that judges, by and large, operate separately from the executive branch, and they act separately from Congress. These three branches are designed to check each other to make sure that neither one branch goes absolutely bananas. It's the reason why, if I remember correctly, the Senate can't impeach judges, right? They can do that. It's the reason why the House of Representatives can impeach a president. It's the reason why if a president says or does something, the Supreme Court can rule whether or not it's constitutional and prevent the president from doing it.
Yep.
That's how it's supposed to work. So when a judge says a thing, they are actually ruling on the constitutionality of it. And that means that a president has to follow it, or they are defying the judge's orders, which Trump did.
Well, the problem is Trump has methodically put some people in. MAGA has placed their agents where they need to place them in order for it to not happen. But I mean, you still have, and some of this could be smoke and mirrors and just acting to where it's like, well, I got to make it look good. I can't let you just do anything. I got to say something about one thing at least. It's very, at this point I'm questioning a lot because
And you should.
Trump has placed his lackeys everywhere to kind of quote unquote unify everybody under him without actually having to change laws and the powers of the Senate, the House, or the Supreme Court. That's why they put the people there, because they're not going to challenge him.
See, this is the thing that gets me. This thing that I want to ask everybody that voted for Trump, whether you're black or white, but particularly white people, because it's a whole lot more of them than it is of us. And those that voted for Trump voted for him for reasons that are their own. And whether they're verified or not, whether I think they're verified or not, whatever. My question is your allegiance to the man Trump, or is your allegiance to the United States of America? Right? Because I remember saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, not the president, but to the republic for which it stands, right? And if my allegiance is to the republic for which it stands, that means that no matter who is the president, the continuation of this great republic, this democratic republic, is top priority. And you won't abide by anyone who is tearing at the fabric of this nation. But you can't tell me that Donald Trump is not tearing at the very fabric of our nation by the things that he's done. He's not honoring commitments and treaties with our allies. He is actively putting tariffs on people that generally have our back in terms of war, in terms of intelligence, in terms of food, in terms of economies. He is defying judges' orders and imprisoning people that are seeking asylum. He's doing everything that he can. Shutting down the Department of Education is like him saying, okay, if you got a kid that has special needs, we don't care about them anymore. We're going to leave it to the states, because one of the larger parts of the Department of Education, and the reason that was created, aside from the fact that it was created to make sure that disadvantaged communities were not adversely affected in funding, right? Because they were in disadvantaged communities, is to make sure that people who had children who had special needs were able to get the assistance so that they could be educated, even though they have special needs.
Yep.
Literally tearing at the very fabric of our nation in real time. He's doing it right now. And the question is your allegiance to Donald Trump your golden calf, or to the United States of America? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because if there were any ifs, ands, or buts about it, you'd be if you're not upset as a Trump supporter, as a person that voted for Trump, as a white person that doesn't like DEI, if you're not upset by what happened with that stupid app, with that Hedgepeth used, then I don't want to hear you say anything about DEI or black people again. You want to know why? Because that app shows that Hedgepeth was unqualified.
He's an idiot.
He is actually what you think DEI is, because what you think is that DEI means that unqualified minorities get options and the ability to hold these jobs that they're unqualified for and do not deserve. When in all actuality, DEI just means that minorities, that and only the minorities that are qualified and have openly showed that they are qualified, have an option to interview for these jobs. Hedgepeth has been unqualified from the day that he was born to do anything other than being a white, slimy male. But he's the head of the Department of Defense now.
And you know what's
he's so good at being unqualified that he allowed operational information to be communicated over an insecure network, insecure app in real time. And then he put a reporter on there as if the reporter wasn't going to tell the world.
And what's funny is he was grilled by, reporters, and he was like, yeah, this never happened. Nobody did. It's like, dude,
you know what he said about the reporter? He said the reporter always makes things up. He's always in the middle of some mess. And I'm like, first of all, you stupid white man. You put him on the thread. So if he's got anything to make up about anything that you said, you put him on the thread. So why
Yeah,
are we even
like
talking about what he's saying?
why would
That's number one.
anybody lie about that? Let's be honest.
Number two, is what he's saying true? Is what he's saying true?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Are you resigning? If the answer is no, then everybody that voted for Trump, I don't want to hear you say anything about anything else. I want to hear about I don't want to hear about whether or not Kamala slept her way to the top. I want to hear about Hillary
Fauci,
Clinton and
leave
emails.
Fauci.
I don't want to hear about Bo Biden doing
Yeah,
crack. I don't want to hear about none of that.
I don't want to hear
None
about
of it.
Hunter Biden's laptop. Like,
I
forget it.
don't want to hear none of it. I don't
Forget
want to
it.
hear none of it. Not ever again.
This takes the cake. This is up there.
Like this is so far afoul that you can't even find the playing field.
Like, there's no way you said, okay, yeah, we'll just use Signal. It's cool. That's secure, right? Like when you're literally the secretary, like you could have called and made it happen. Like, hey, give me a secure app to do XYZ. Yes, sir.
That man got a Nazi cross on his chest.
Hmm?
He's got a Nazi cross on his chest. And everybody was just like, oh yeah, let's give him a shot. When did we start being okay with giving Nazis a shot in America? Is it because Donald Trump's the president? Because if that's the case, then what you're telling me is Donald Trump is your idol. And it's okay if he's your idol. I just need for you to say it so we can all be on the same page about where and who and what you are. It also means that you have no allegiance to the United States of America. And if that's the case, then I need to deal with you like I deal with everybody else that has no allegiance to this country, the only country that I know to be home.
Like, why are you tearing down or aiding this man in tearing down the country in which you live in? Like I knew something was off, and I knew the tone was set when the insurrectionists were pardoned.
That was a campaign promise. I was mad at that.
That sets the tone for what he was getting.
I was mad at that. But pardoning the insurrectionists, okay.
No.
Hear me out. In the grand scheme of things, right? Because he literally has the power to do that. The grand scheme of things, that did not make me as upset as some of the things that he's actually doing.
Yes, but true. But still, it's like, even if I put my villain hat on, I'm going to let those insurrectionists take the fall. I'm going to sit there and say I condemn their actions, and they're going to do time. I'm going to let the justice system carry out what it's going to carry out. I would have let them burn.
Here's the thing, Dominique.
Just to make it look.
No, you're not a very good Nazi.
Clearly.
You're not a very good Nazi.
Clearly.
Because what Nazis or dictators do is, if you roll with me, unless I'm going down, you out, you good, you Gucci. Right?
Amazing.
And if Republican senators, right, had threatened to replace the president if he pardoned the January 6th insurrectionists, then he wouldn't have done that. But they would not dare even consider what they should actually be doing because of the things that he's doing.
Yeah. Where's that? I gotta find that link. I really want to show everybody this, because this is another thing that really grinds my gears right now. And what is that link? There it is. This is
working. Yeah. What you got?
No, I was just saying, I found it. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, the open conversation is, how long is it going to take for America to fix what Trump is destroying in real time? The answer, I think conservatively, is about 25 years, 25, 30 years. It's going to take a good 25 years to undo what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's a decent amount of time. And this man's only been in office like 2 months. I got to put my glasses on for this. Where are they?
I have never prayed for someone that was healthy to meet Jesus like I'm praying for him to meet Jesus right now.
So this is the Project 2025 tracker. This is so, a lot of people started bringing up, like, hey, do you know about Project 2025? Blah, 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 such. And Trump was like, yeah, I've never seen it. For somebody to have never seen that or claim to they've never seen that, he's executing this very well.
Right, again, rejecting the premise of
there's 301 total items, and 104 of them are done. 45 are in progress. And you know what's crazy? I have a friend that I was debating heavily not too long ago because he's a very big. I don't even know if he's a Republican registered, but I'm not even sure if he's like that MAGA focused or what. But he defends the Republican Party as if there is no end. And it's amazing because he's in the military. And part of it is they're coming for your VA benefits. That is on the list.
What do you mean coming for? They came for. What do you think this budget was?
Like sunset the Office of Accountability.
What do you mean the cuts in Medicare and Medicaid were for? Coming for
outsource care into private facilities. Prevent the VA from covering abortion service. Okay, that's stupid. Whatever. But it's just like your VA benefits are on the chopping block. They're trying to figure out how to reduce any of your benefits and right size them, essentially. And some people actually have legitimate cases as to why they need those benefits. But like I said, this is amazing.
I mean, people don't care until it affects them, and then when it affects them, they want to start screaming.
Yeah, want to start acting
at the rooftops, like, "Oh my gosh, we got to march!" We not marching. We marched beforehand. We told y'all gonna have to deal with this, or you gonna have to do something to fix it, right? You know what I heard, and we got to wrap this up. But you know what I heard recently, or video what I read recently. Assorted state governments throughout the Midwest, they getting ready to ban birth control.
Ooh.
They're getting ready to attempt to ban legislatively birth control. I want you to sit with that for a minute. Because if they're willing to ban birth control, then what is it saying that they're trying to do to our wives, sisters, mothers, and daughters?
They're trying to force them to have their kids.
Banning birth control. No, not mifepristone, the thing that you take when you are pregnant. The actual things that you take so that you don't get pregnant. Mm-hmm. They're trying to ban those two.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Much like they're getting ready to overturn gay marriage and interracial marriage and a whole bunch of other things. And birthright citizenship. They're working on that, and they're working on what do you call that?
That's one of the ones that got denied.
Citizenship by marriage. They're working on all of those at the same time. And yes, the birthright citizenship, it isn't over with yet. There's an injunction around the process for that at the moment. But if it hits the legislature, then I'm not exactly sure I don't know. But yeah. Anyhow, those are soapbox moments, ladies and gentlemen. We got a little frustrated there. And yes, it isn't funny that people are working against their own interests. But here's the thing. They're not working against their own interests. They're actually doing exactly what their interests is. They're actually aligned with their interests, right? We only think that they're working against their interests because we think that whether it's economically or culturally, those decisions are against their own interests. No, it's not. It actually aligns with their interests. And their interest is whiteness. There it is. The protecting of it, the ensuring that the benefits of whiteness maintain and remain for another generation, and the subjugation and oppression of minority people so that whiteness can flourish without competition. Now, keep in mind, I didn't say white people. I said whiteness. And if you can't separate the two, then you've got soul searching to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference being whiteness is the system that pits minorities against each other and against white people so that white people can have benefits that minorities do not. And if you are part of that system, actively working within that system to preserve the benefits of your whiteness and to prevent it from being accessed by people that are not white, then you are protecting whiteness. You are being a racist.
You know, they're
That's
trying to
just how it
require
goes.
the FAA to operate more like a business. Side note, Trump said on
They're trying to sell the government. Do you
to
not know this?
private that private companies will
Every
be
government
building a
every
new.
government agency that there is, they're trying to sell it. What do you think the closing the Department of Education is? I'm sorry. Now you got me back up on this soapbox. The
Mhm.
entirety of the Department of Education being closed is so that they can funnel a portion of the money to the states, so they can do with it what they want. EI, charter schools,
Yeah.
and for those special needs 50, they're getting rid of 504, but for the special needs kids, you know what they're going to mandate? What Project 2025 mandates? They go into special private schools that are run by private companies that are contracted with the state. In other words, they want to give tax dollars to private school companies for special needs kids.
Mhm. Big business. Big
They
business.
want to take
People
my
are
tax dollars
they're
out of my area school to give to private schools so that they can educate special needs kids when the school down the road is doing just fine. They just need more funding for more teachers because the class size is ridiculously large.
right.
Right? Like you said, the FAA, they're trying to run it like a private business. Well, what they want to do is they want to sell it to a private business. They want a private business to function in place of the FAA. That is actually a Republican talking point and has been for a while, not necessarily for the FAA, but for government as a whole.
And you know what's
Because
amazing?
government is to protect its citizens. Private business is to make a profit. They're doing it with the post office right now. They're trying
Yeah.
to decimate it to the point where another company either comes in and buys it and manages it,
Yeah.
or it just goes away completely. And UPS, FedEx, and DHL are the ones that are delivering our mail at a cost. Same thing with the VA. They don't want the VA hospital. They want these veterans having to pay private health care
Yeah.
costs at a private hospital
Yep.
as opposed to getting VA care at a well-funded VA facility. That's what they want. Like when I say it's a grift, when I say it's wealth transfer, when I say it's stealing from the poor and the middle class to make rich people richer, this is what I mean.
It's amazing.
Sorry, I do apologize.
Absolutely amazing.
You know, it's the Irish in me gets really upset when people take advantage of other countrymen.
Space commerce.
Anyhow, all right. You got anything else? I'm out. I'm out.
No,
I'm all
man.
out.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm out.
For now.
I'm out.
Until the next security breach from
Let's close with shout outs then. Let's close with shout outs.
I want to shout myself out. I found a new so I've been following this Instagram called Brew Crew Coffee. They make very interesting drinks. Not like alcoholic drinks, but like, dude, I made so in one of the drinks they have like refreshers, right? And I think Starbucks makes them too. One thing I didn't realize is that they were using like cream, like half and half. So like you make like a dragon fruit lemonade, but then you'll pour a certain amount of cream in it, creamer, and mix it up. And it actually, and you probably had a drink like that before and just didn't know it. And it is really good. Like, so it's called essentially making the drink dirty. And I made one of those earlier. I had like a strawberry lemonade, but I had the peach syrup, and then I added a little bit of what was it creamer, mixed it up, and it was like drinking drinking a nice summer day.
I had a drink earlier today. It was like drinking a nice Sunday dinner.
We're not going back to that. we're gonna leave that. We're gonna leave that.
I got two shout outs. Shout out to JuJu. Shout out to JuJu for having an ACL tear. And I hope that she recovers quickly. And I hope that she comes back stronger. She was getting ready to cash in and whatnot. And, that really.
She's a sophomore or a junior?
She's a sophomore, I believe. Okay. Yeah, she is a sophomore. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for fighting the good fight, for giving words to the resistance in the way that it needs to be. Hopefully, also challenging Chuck Schumer in his primary. He needs to be primary. He needs to be held to account for the things that he's done and things that he's doing.
Yeah, it's about.
Yeah, definitely. So shout out to both of those phenomenal women in America.
The only knock I have on hers, but that's for later. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, shout out to RFK. Shout out to RFK for being an agent of natural selection. For being the person that's going to allow people that are, let me not say stupid enough, that aren't uninformed and emotional enough to not take the measles shot and not give it to their kids, to be selectively removed from society. In other words, for allowing what we know as herd immunity. And if you know anything about herd immunity, you know that means a lot of people got to get a thing before it goes away.
Yep.
And a lot of people got to die for the things that go away. I'm vaccinated. My kids are vaccinated. But there are a lot of people that are not. And a percentage of them are going to die because of what RFK is doing and how he's verbalizing the measles outbreak that's in America at the moment.
Say what you want. For the anti-vaxxers, I've been pumped with so many vaccines. It's stupid. I should have superpowers by now. But I have never had the measles or mumps. And it's sad that I can say that nowadays.
Well, again, the premise is that vaccines are bad. To the uninformed, anything is bad. To the uninformed, vaccines seem like a mandate that the government places on you. To those that actually,
it's like you're controlling my body. No, you're just trying to keep everybody safe, you idiot. But
for those that actually know and actually care, like the informed persons that are looking to be in communal society, vaccines are a must, and they keep all of us alive. And they have for, I don't know, I guess we eradicated measles for like 75 years until you numbnuts decided that you were not going to vaccinate your kids. And now your kids got measles and you're trying to figure out how to keep them alive.
A case of polio came up again too.
I'm vaccinated against that too.
I think we take the people who, like, when you do get those diseases, we send you like Greenland or something and then kind of see how the experiment works out.
No, you should send them to El Paso, to West Texas, and let them congregate against themselves. And whoever lives gets to rejoin some portion of Oklahoma. Whoever dies gets buried there with their countrymen.
Right. Like a reality show.
I'm not going to get vaxxed because the measles vaccine. Okay. All right. Just keep your non-vaccinated self away from me. How about that?
Right.
Anyhow, we've belabored the point. We've been here way too long. Thank you guys for watching. To our Carolina Storm audience, we want to thank you for being here with us. We will be here Same time next week, same time this week and next week. And we hope that you like and subscribe, that you get the notification on YouTube so that you know when we are live streaming. Do the same on Facebook, and we will see you next week. I'm Steven. This is Dominique. Jason is on vacation. That man, he's the hardest working man on our podcast and the richest man too, because that man going to Disney for a second time in less than 12 months. So Jason, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Everybody else, we'll see you guys next week.